Number two, writing our Islamic will, Wasiya. This is something that every single one of you should do. Now, is it wajib for you to write your will? It depends. For some people, it is wajib, meaning it is mandatory. For other people, it is not mandatory. However, even for those individuals where it's not wajib, it's highly recommended that you write your wasiyah. There are numerous traditions from the Prophet and the Imams that tell us the importance of writing your will as soon as possible, not when you're old. Whenever you hear the statement, write it. Aslan, there's a hadith from the Prophet where he says, لا ينبغي للمسلم أن ينام إلا وتحت فراشه وصيته. He says, Aslan, you should not even go to sleep before writing your wasiyah. Why? Because you don't know if Allah will give you another day to live. And what's the point of the wasiyah? The point of the will is that you write any unfinished business, any outstanding debt that you have towards Allah or towards people, so that your family members can take care of it after you. That's the whole point of the wasiyah. So, based on this, if I am someone that I know there is absolutely no debt towards me, towards Allah or towards people, I don't have to write my wasiyah. I don't, because what am I going to write in? I've done everything. There's nothing I need my family to do. And I don't care where they bury me, right? It's not wajib for you to tell your family where they, let them decide where they bury me. So is it wajib? No, but it's highly recommended. Now, something I will mention to keep this brief is, here at the IIA, we do schedule appointments for people to come in and they can write their wasiyah. And you can see, Ali, go to the next slide. You can see the copy. I think there's an English and Arabic, but this presentation. So this is the actual paper we do have here. Yeah, go back to the other slide. Yeah, this one. So it's a piece of paper with all the different questions regarding what you've missed, what you want your family to do with your wealth, how to distribute it. You can schedule an appointment if you haven't done it. Now, if you know how to do it, you can do it yourself. But if you need guidance, you can schedule an appointment either with me, with my father, any other scholar. And then we even will sign it, and it will become something, I don't know if it's could be used for official use, like an official legal will, but at least for Islamically, it will be something that will be accepted and something that your family will be bound by it. And just real quickly, what do we do in the wasiyah? When we sit in that session, it asks you, what are you missing from the wajibat? Are there any salat, prayers that you haven't done? Yes. I started praying when I was 20. Okay. When did I become baligh, mature? When was salah wajib upon me? Okay, I have 7, 8 years of salah that has to be done, on my behalf. Go back to the earlier page, Ali. So you see, for example, this is, you could see a list, it's in Arabic here. But, this is my wasiyah, salat yawmiyah. This is the wajib 5 daily prayers that I may have missed. Salat al-ayat, when there's an eclipse, a solar or lunar eclipse that I may have missed. I write it. So just in case I die, my family knows what to make up. Fasting. If I have missed any fasting, I have to make sure that I write it. Kafara, meaning if I invalidated my fast intentionally and I never paid the fine, I have to indicate that. There's something called the fidya. Fidya, for older people that can't fast, they have to pay like a charity. Every day, 750 grams of sadaqah, of food, which is almost $1 or $2 per day. If that's something I haven't paid, I have to pay it. If I didn't make up the fasting that I missed due to travel, due to being sick, you have 1 year to make it up. You don't make it up until next Ramadan. Now you're going to have to pay fidya, $1 or $2, depending on where you pay it, for every single day. If I haven't paid that, I pay it. There are many kafarat. For example, if someone does a hilf or a nidhr, a vow, an oath, wallah, I will do this, wallah, I won't do this. Now there are certain conditions to it. It has to be something good. Wallah, I'll do something good. Wallah, I won't do something bad. But if you say, Wallah, I'm going to kill someone, aslan your hilf is batil to begin with. It's not even recognized in Islam. Do you have a question? If you have I'll get to that. If you don't know what you're missing, I'll get to that in a minute. So if you made a hilf, if you qasam, you swore that you will or won't do something, and then you broke it, there's a fine. You have to feed 10 people. What is there? Kafarat. Yeah, that's kafarat yameen, kafarat iftar muta'ammid. So this is all the debts towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then debts towards people. If there is money that I'm indebted towards people, I have to write it down. And that includes, brothers and sisters, something called diyah, blood money. If I've injured someone, Islam says that now you're in debt. You have to pay that person a specific amount. Rad madhalim, this is something that's very important. If you owe someone money but you have no access to them, that debt doesn't just go away. No, there's a specific act that you have to do. For example, let's say that I took money from someone and I told them I'll give it back to you, but then I can't find that person. The number doesn't work, no one can find that person. Here it's called radd madhalim. What do? Whatever that amount is, you have to pay it as sadaqah, charity, on behalf of the person that you have no access to. Another common example that would lead to radd madhalim is if you bump into someone's car that's parked. You scratch their car, right? What are you supposed to do? Some people hit and run. Don't do that. What do? You wait until that person comes. The person never comes. You leave a note. That person never calls you. I am now indebted to that person. This is a dain. It's a debt towards me, Allah subhanahu, because I caused that damage. That person never calls me. What do? I have to estimate an amount and I have to give it as sadaqah on behalf of that person. Because this is something Allah will ask you. You damaged that person's property. What did you do about it? Well, I tried. No, it's a debt that you can never get rid of. And that's only if you have no access. I don't know who this person is. If you have access, no, go to them and give them. They said, I don't want it, khalas. But if you don't have access to them, this is called radd madhalim. Now, when it comes to the money that you leave, when you're writing your wasiyah, do you have to indicate how it's distributed? Now, in essence, you don't, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already, in the Quran, in the hadith, Allah has already told us how our wealth should be distributed when we die. Your son gets this much. Your daughter gets this much. Your wife gets this much. Your husband, your mom, your dad. This is all decided by Allah. We have no say over it. The only authority you have over your inheritance after you die, over what people, the wealth that will become inheritance, is 1/3, thuluth. You've heard thuluth, 1/3. Anna, I have $100,000 or $300,000. 100,000 of that, I can decide to do whatever I want with it. I want it to be donated. I want it to be given to a friend. I want it to be given to one specific family member. It's up to you. But this is an option. You don't have to. You can just leave it and all of it will be distributed based on the Quranic formula. Now, the problem that we have here in the US, if you have not written your will, I was reading about this. They call this state the intestate. Have you heard about intestate? Anyone heard about intestate? I hope I didn't write it wrong. So it's basically when someone dies. Yes, so intestate. So not having made a will before one dies. Now if you die not writing a will, what happens in this country? The government decides what to do with your money. They're not going to distribute it based on what Allah wants, based on the Islamic way, based on the Quranic principle. So they're going to distribute it based on their way. Thus, in order for you to make sure it is distributed Islamically, it might be considered wajib for us to write our will. Even though, it should be a given, it's automatic, Allah has decided. But because in this country it's not recognized, the laws of Islam, you don't want your state, the government, to decide how it's distributed, then it is important, brothers and sisters, that when you write your will, you indicate, I want it to be done based on the Islamic way, and be more specific, the Shia Islamic way, or for example, based on my marja, whatever it is. So this is why it's important for someone to, in their will, to indicate, and this is more important in their legal will. I have a specific preference that my religion teaches me. This is how my will should be distributed, how my money should be distributed. Like I said, anyone that wants help, they can reach out. You can call the office or me directly, and we can schedule an appointment to do your will. Remember, is it wajib? It depends. If there's outstanding balances, outstanding debt, it is wajib. And it's a custom since during the times of the imams that before you go to Hajj, make sure you've written your will. And during the times of the imams, the reasoning was that Hajj was a very long trip, and sometimes you never came back, right? You could die of sickness on the way, you could be eaten by a predator. Imagine it's like a 3-4 week journey just on your camel or horse. So write your will before you do something serious in life. That's the point of writing your will before Hajj. And there's a hadith even from Imam al-Sadiq where he says, "Man rakiba rahilatan falyusi." Anytime you're about to travel, make sure your wasiyah is ready. You've written it and you've updated it. You have to update your wasiyah constantly because there's going to be new things that come up. There's going to be certain things that you'll take care of. You can remove it. I remember when I was young and I learned about this wasiyah thing, I bought a small notebook, a very small notebook that I used to keep in my pocket. And I would just, it's like a diary thing. I would just write whatever new comes, anything new that happens. Like let's say I took $20 loan from a friend. I could die tonight and no one will know. I write it down. I missed a salah, let's say. I write it down. Anything that I would want my family members to know in case I died, I keep it in that book. And you tell your family members, if I die, please check my wasiyah book. Now you can do it on your iPhones. You don't have to do it every day. Once a month, even if it's once a year, just make sure before you go to Hajj, you take care of this.